Uh-oh. I don't like that. Yeah, we need to check that out. Hey all, Brendan, welcome back to the channel. Cliff Jumper here, and we are back in my Mk4 R32 that I have had for almost 20 years. I'm the original owner, and it has been remarkably reliable as far as cars in my experience go. But we've got a check engine light showing up on the dash. Fortunately, on this car, because I've got the color MFA, I don't actually have to go get a my VAGCOM or VCDS. I can use this to read the fault codes on it right on the dash. So it's connecting, and we've got two different error codes. And we're going to go ahead and read them. We've got lean limit exceeded, okay. Upper limit exceeded, and then on this one, it's system to lean, upper limit exceeded. All right, I'm not going to clear them just yet because I want to make sure that I'm fixing what is actually wrong. So I'll leave the annoying check engine light for now. But with this color MFA system, I can actually clear the codes right from the dash without having to plug anything else in. That's kind of a neat feature. Now, as it turns out, these two codes are related to vacuum leaks. So let's go look under the hood, see what we find. So underneath here, and I've already done a little bit of poking around, truth be told, to look for vacuum leaks. There are not a lot of places on the VR6 where it can develop a vacuum leak. Most of them are underneath the pretty plastic cover here that I painted many years ago. So some of the places it could be is right here by the fuel pressure regulator. That's one notorious spot, and it's nice and tight. The vacuum hoses are tightly connected, so that's not an issue. I just checked out the bottom of this, and it's fine. We don't have a leak there, so that's not what we are dealing with, although if we track it back over here, there's a PCV valve, and that is something that's already been dealt with, and that is not the issue now. Right here, oh, look at that. We've got a whole bunch of oil along this hose, which is part of the breather assembly that comes along there. And this is one of those lovely hoses that is really hard to get because they haven't made it in like 10 years. Now I've got a couple of spots here where I can see it's a little bit loose where it plugs into the back of the intake here. And you also notice my ghetto flex seal fix, because this hose had a leak some years ago, and I used the flex seal stuff to just do a quick fix, figuring I would replace it sooner or later. And it turns out much, much later, because it's been about 10 years that that flex seal has been fixing it. So judge me if you want for the ghetto fix, but it did the job for a really long time. And I did a cursory look online to see if we could find another one of these replacement hoses. Haven't found one in stock anywhere yet. I'm gonna keep looking, but in the meantime, how do you think I'm gonna fix it? If you guessed I'm gonna go get some more Flex Seal and wrap it back up, clean it and rewrap it, you are right on the money, because 10 years worth of fix from a stupid ghetto thing right there, absolutely, we are gonna do that again. So I will go get some Flex Seal black this time instead of the clear. I will probably put a little bit of RTV silicone in this connector here. There is an O-ring I could replace, and maybe I happen to have the O-ring. I don't know, but I will look and see if we do have the O-ring for that, and then I can replace it. But that should sort out our issue with the check engine light. So this time, instead of Flex Seal, we are actually going to use rescue tape, which is rated for 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So it should do even better than the Flex Seal that lasted for a full 10 years. So to get into this, we got to remove this. Now, I've already started the process, and These clips are just the worst things ever. I think anyone that works on Volkswagens and Audis would agree. They're terrible, terrible things. You have to squeeze gently and wiggle. That's the trick. Squeeze and wiggle, and just pull very gently, and it will come off. And on the other end here, let me show you. I'm not going to release it completely because there's a vacuum hose that I haven't disattached, but you can see there are 4 prongs that hold this in place, and you have to very gently loosen all of them to get that thing removed from your intake boot here. Now, I've obviously got an aftermarket one. This one was made by EIP back in the day, their complete cold air system, and it goes all the way down into the fender where it sucks air from in here. And believe it or not, this wonderful thing, disguised cleverly as a new speed intake for smog purposes, made 18 wheel horsepower and gain. So if anybody ever tells you, oh, those filter on a stick things don't actually do anything, it depends. On many applications, yeah, you lose power. Most of the reason of that is, most of the time, you will see mass airflow sensor, filter, nothing in between, and the mass airflow sensor needs at least 6 inches or so of straight pipe to smooth the airflow before it, or it gets really confused and you actually lose power. Plus, if you've got a filter here in your hot engine bay, it's just sucking in hot air and you lose power from that. So the combination of filter right on the mass airflow sensor making turbulence, plus filter sucking in hot air, and yeah, you lose power. But if you've got one where it adds a nice length of piping and sucks in from an actual cold air source, well, you run the risk of hydrolocking your motor if you drive it in a flood or a rain, so be careful there. But it does actually pick up power because of the Venturi effect and the velocity stacking going into the intake. So dyno measured and approved, tested it myself, and I can show you the results. Anyway, so that's that. But this breather goes into the backside here, into this heater element. We are going to clean that all up because there's all sorts of oil and gunk, and you can see it's been leaking. There's one more vacuum hose attached to this that we are going to have to free in order to get this out completely and do our repairs. So I'm going to use both hands, get into there. That's what we're after. Now, this vacuum hose also goes to another vacuum hose, which can leak, so I'm just going to check it for any breaks. Don't feel anything. Kind of a fiddly connector here. The connector is a little bit broken actually, so that's not great. Yeah, the plastic has given way. So this is a really iffy connector, and I can feel like all sorts of break inside this. This is now completely, oh yeah, look at that. That is completely let go inside there. So the plastic is done on this. We're gonna have a job to get that sorted out in good condition, but I'm also gonna need to deal with this right there. Let's see if we can get it to release. All right, good. Got it released. So yeah, we're gonna clean this up with some degreaser and clean this up, get it all replumbed, replugged. Looks like there's an O-ring here that I can probably replace. Yeah, it's gotten kind of gunked up and flattened out. So we'll replace that O-ring, and then we should be in pretty good shape for this, and we'll have to repair and put that all back together. Now, because this is all gunkified, I might want to add a little bit of tubing inside here to reinforce this as I put it together with the other side, and then seal it all up. And then on this side of things here, it's actually not in bad shape. The O-rings look like they're decent. They are the original ones though, so those could probably stand to be changed as well. So we'll go ahead and fish those off, replace them, and we're going to remove all this old flex tape kind of amazed how long this held up in the engine bay. Multiple cross-country drives, many track days. Many track days. This stupid flex tape stuff probably saw, oh man, if I had to guess, probably, I don't know, at least, I don't know how many hundreds of hours of track time, but a lot of freaking track time. Maybe reinforce this section where that crack is as well, and we should be able to restore operation, repair the part, keep this thing going without having to buy the new one, which by the way is unobtainium, cannot be found, haven't made it in a long time, and so repairing this is the only option. Okay, welcome back to the laboratory. What I found that's going to work is this is some heater hose, and it's nice and thick, it's rigid. I think that I can insert that all the way in through here and give this the needed structure to hold it together, and and then wrap the thing around, connecting the two pieces like so. So right here we've got an obvious break. See, boom, that is done. So inserting the piece in here, yep, and then I don't know if I can fish this all the way through and then cut it to length. I wonder if I can. Let's see. Let's see if this is going to allow for it. It might not. It might not be quite bendy enough, but maybe. Oh, hey, look. Okay, great. So this is, you know, you can see where it burned through the original. That's the original reason I had used Flex Seal on this, was this burn in these 4 leaks right there. So since then, it has obviously progressed in its decrease in performance. All right, we are running out of light here, but we are also just about done. So that's a good thing. So, yeah, what we need to do then is reconnect this wonderful little hose under here first. So that's in. And then snake this through like so. And we are going to plug it in last. Over here, we're gonna do the one that goes into the intake manifold first. So, again, hard to see because of the lack of light, but it just slides onto here. You give it the little pinchy treatment, and it will go on happily. I might need, there we go, both hands to make that happy. This will slide on here. There we go. Nice positive click, that's happy. And the last one, very hard to see right now with the fading light. I apologize. Oh, and of course the engine cover is wanting to get in on the action. Move you out of the way. All right, positive clicks, that's re-engaged, and our ghetto fix is complete. So we should be all good with that. And of course, the last step in the process is we need to clear the code, because it did have that code for that small engine leak. So I don't even need to use the VCDS or the VAGCOM because of our very cool Matthew Litkey color MFA. Let's jump in here, turn on the lights, and close the door. Turn the ignition on, and we are going to go ahead and go to diagnostics, clear faults. Just make sure. No errors found. Great. So we are all done with this, and when I turn on the ignition, that check engine light should go away. Fabulous. So for those of you who might be facing that same challenge, the old hoses that are breaking, and they are very hard to replace because the new ones can't be found, let me know if you find some new old stock somewhere. I will happily buy one and swap it in, but maybe I'll just keep it around for the eventuality of when this one actually does break, because the one that I ghetto fixed before lasted a full 10 years. And this one, let's see how long it'll last. Place your bets now in the comments. In the meantime, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share, please. It really helps us out if you like our content, or if you just like R32s and Corrados and fun stuff like that. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.
And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to say goodbye. We'll be back.